set up their own vineyard, okay, called Vigna del Ventaglio, which means fan vineyard, because it was a fan-shaped vineyard with 10 different rows and 10 different varietals. So the Bourbon Kings were connected to the French. I'm sure you know that Maria Carolina was the sister of Maria Antonietta, Maria Antoinette. Okay, so they had relationships with the French all the time, and so they could not stand the fact that the French were coming here with their own barrels. Okay, they're all having wine. Let me open another one. So that's why they used to buy the grapes from different vineyards. Okay, and they used to buy the wine, but then it came, you know, at the end of the 18th century, they decided to have their own vineyard because they wanted to make, you know, a good wine, as good as the wine that the French used to bring from Paris. So they set up this vineyard, called Fan Vineyard, Vigna del Ventaglio, and few of the varietals that they planted were coming from Sicily because they were the kings of two Sicilies. And the ones which were coming from here, from Campania, were the Pallagrello Bianco and Pallagrello Nero. This is quite a weird thing, because the most widely cultivated plant, vine, varietal in Campania was Aglianico and Falanghina. I guess you have already had Aglianico and Falanghina. So they were pretty famous and renowned all over the kingdom. But they planted the Pallagrello Bianco. So this is a pretty weird thing. All the historians. Okay. Shall I? Here in the back?
No.
Louis driver?
No.
You're not allowed. Just eat it, right?
You could smell it since it's such a
That's even worse. That's even worse.
I'm surprised at myself. Not really.
So this is the same, you know, with food, you know, with the road. We do food like that. So let's first make una chin-chin. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So, and that was pretty weird, because they didn't plant the most famous and renowned grapes. So this is Pallagrello Bianco. It's pretty high alcohol content, it's 14 alcohol proof, and it's a medium high acidity. Okay, it's not easy to pair, you know, with this kind of cheese. So these two cheeses, this is buffalo, and this is sheep. So this is kind of spicy. So let's just see, you know, just by nibbling something. If this wine can be paired with these cheeses, you know, which are pretty spicy, sometimes it's not that easy for a white wine, you know, to be paired, you know, with such a fruit. Okay, so they planted the Pallagrello Bianco and Pallagrello Nero in the royal palace of Caserta. Then what happened is the Bourbon Kings had to escape. The Sal told you guys that my family was part of the kingdom, you know, the reign. So we had to escape as well, and then we came back after 15 years. And meanwhile, the Savoia family, the family from Piedmont, they just destroyed whatever the Bourbon Kings did. So they destroyed the vineyard as well. And then the phylloxera, you know what phylloxera is? Not the disease, we destroyed all the vineyards in Europe. They you know, contributed to destroy, you know, whatever was left, you know, over the hills, whatever. So 30 years ago, my father, he started reviving these indigenous varietals, typical of northern Campania, with a bunch of other vintners, with the head of the university, so the help of the University of Florence. So they went all over the places trying to find big vines, pre-phylloxera plants, from which, you know, they had to take the cuttings and repropagate them on the American rooftop. You know, so that's, you know, the history, you know, and the story behind, you know, which lies behind
for the most part, are they just growing it in Caserta, in the province of Caserta?
So if Aglianico and Falanghina and Fiano as well, which are the most widely grapes in Campania, you find them all over Campania. These you just find in this plateau, in this valley, and you don't find anywhere else. So they have adapted themselves, you know, to this microclimate, what we call terroir, okay, which is not just the soil, you know, the terroir is a mixture, you know, it's a blend of different things, okay?
They studied this on the bus.
On the bus.
They had a whole terroir.
This is the terroir, I mean, the soil that we have here, you can tell it's a volcanic soil, okay? It's pretty light because it's dehydrated, okay? Dehydrated, yeah. Because this comes from the Campi Flegrei explosion of 39,000 years ago. So what we got here was not lava, because we are too far away, it's 50 miles. We got the ash from Mount Vesuvius. So in the ash just covered all the valley here. But then throughout the years, it has been washed down the hills, because it's lighter than the clay. And so all the vineyards down the plateau where we are at 300 feet on the sea level, you know, the altitude here is 200 feet. Yes. So from 300 feet down, it's all volcanic soil. Just because it used to be on the hills as well, but then it has been dragged down, you know, washed down the valley. So all the vineyards, all the grapes that we cultivate, you know, down the valley are much finer because of this kind of soil. Okay, the ones that we have above the hills, where it's more limestone, like that, you see? It's more limestone, and you can tell, and the soil is totally different. So this is up on the hills, you know, and this is the ash down the valley. Okay? So you will see later, if we have time, you know, I want to tour you around the vineyards, you'll see it's the soil is kind of grayish soil. Okay? So let's see, just start nibbling something, and then we will start with the reds, and we will have that guanciale, okay, of Maialino Nero Casertano, which is a typical breed, you know, from northern Campania. So let's see if the wine is able, you know, to change, you know, support the cheese.
Did I hit you? I'll take your wine down.
I'll throw you off. But the party has. But now if you got it.
Yeah, do the same trick?
Yeah.
No, or just. Ah!
So the one on my right hand side is sheep, and this is cow. This is buffalo. Okay.
Everybody.